Darkness doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it comes quietly, disguised as people who smile at you while sinking the knife deeper. And you, yes, you, kept that door open for far too long. You tolerated disrespect that was never accidental. You endured wounds caused by hands that pretended to care. You let chaos walk freely through a doorway that should have been locked the moment you felt the first cold breeze. But tonight, the Riddler wants you to face a truth you've avoided. They hurt you in ways they'll never admit. They drained you in ways they'll never understand. And now, it's time, finally, to shut that door for good. This isn't a warning. It's a reckoning. They always believed you would stay. No matter how many pieces of yourself you had to sacrifice just to keep the peace. They counted on your silence, your patience, your kindness, as if those were weaknesses instead of the quiet signs of someone far stronger than they ever deserved. They thought you were predictable, controllable, someone who would always come back no matter how many times they crossed the line. But every human being has a breaking point. And you reached yours quietly, long before they ever noticed. The truth they never understood is simple. You weren't losing yourself. You were observing. You were watching the patterns, the excuses, the lies. And the more they tried to take advantage of your loyalty, the more you learned exactly who they were. Your silence wasn't submission, it was strategy. Every moment you stayed quiet, you gathered the strength to walk away without leaving a single breadcrumb behind. While they mistook your endurance for dependence, something powerful was happening inside you. A shift, a realization, a fire. You began to understand that their chaos was not your responsibility, their cruelty was not your burden, and their disrespect was not your destiny. You started to feel the weight lift the moment you imagined a life without their interference. That feeling, the one they hoped you'd never have, was the beginning of your awakening. And when you finally decided that enough was enough, the whole game changed. The door they used to walk through whenever they needed, you suddenly became the same door you were ready to close forever. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with clarity, with dignity. With a silence so powerful it echoes louder than any confrontation ever could. Because shutting the door isn't about punishing them, it's about freeing yourself. They will act confused when the door finally closes. They always do. People who take advantage of your heart never expect consequences, they expect access. They expect you to cave, to explain, to justify, to plead. But not this time. This time, their confusion is the price of their own behavior. Their shock is the result of the disrespect they thought you would tolerate forever. And the silence you give them now. That silence is your final lesson. Behind that door, they will replay every moment you carried them, every time you forgave what wasn't forgivable, every time you fixed what they broke, every time you chose peace over pride. And the more they remember, the smaller they will feel. Because only now will they realize that you weren't weak. You were holding everything together while they contributed nothing. Your strength was invisible to them, until the day it wasn't there anymore. As you step forward, something inside you shifts permanently. You start to recognize the power you gave away just to keep the wrong people comfortable. You begin reclaiming your energy piece by piece, breath by breath. The world looks different when the weight of someone else's chaos is no longer on your shoulders. Suddenly, there's space. Space for growth, for peace, for self-respect. And that space is sacred. It's the space they never wanted you to discover. Because the moment you understand your value, the moment you refuse to be their emotional shelter, the moment you choose yourself over their manipulation, you become untouchable. And that's why shutting the door is not an ending. It's a transformation. The version of you they tried to break is gone. What stands here now is someone sharper, wiser, more dangerous to the ones who underestimated you. Someone who knows exactly what they deserve and what they will never accept again. Now that the door is shut, something remarkable happens. The noise stops. The noise of their drama, their demands, their expectations, their guilt trips, gone. And in that silence, you finally hear the truth that was always there, buried beneath their chaos. You realize that losing them was never the loss, keeping them was. You were carrying dead weight disguised as companionship, and only now do you understand how heavy it truly was. As you move forward, the world begins to open in ways you never imagined. Opportunities that were once blocked by their negativity now reveal themselves with clarity. You feel lighter, faster, calmer. You start to rebuild, this time with intention, not desperation. You choose people who match your loyalty, not exploit it. You choose environments that elevate you, not drain you. You choose a life built on respect, not survival. And every choice you make is a brick in the foundation of the new you. What they don't realize is that shutting the door wasn't a moment of rage. It was a moment of evolution. You didn't walk away because you were broken. You walked away because you were done shrinking yourself to make them feel comfortable. You were done explaining your worth to people committed to misunderstanding it. You were done offering loyalty to people who mistook it for obligation. This was never abandonment, it was liberation. And here's the truth they will eventually face. They didn't lose you by accident. They lost you by design, their design. Every selfish act, every lie, every moment they took you for granted built the very door you closed. And now, as they stand on the other side, wondering why you're not coming back, you finally understand something powerful. You don't belong where your spirit is suffocating. You don't stay where your value is ignored. And you don't reopen doors you had to fight to close. When you close a door for good, you aren't just ending a chapter, you're reclaiming the pen. You're choosing to write a future that isn't controlled by the people who failed to appreciate you. And trust me, the Riddler knows the power of walking away. He knows that silence can be more devastating than any confrontation, and that disappearing from someone's life is sometimes the loudest message you'll ever send. So let them wonder, let them question, let them realize too late what they threw away, because the moment you shut that door, you stepped into a higher version of yourself, one that refuses to settle for disrespect, excuses, or half-hearted love. You stepped into a future where your peace comes first, your value is non-negotiable, and your growth is unstoppable. That's the transformation they never saw coming. And that's why enough is enough, and why the door stays shut. If this message hit you, if it woke something inside you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There's more coming, more truth, more power, more speeches to sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. Stay sharp. Stay rising, and never reopen a door you fought to close.